How's it going, everyone? It's been a long time coming, but the fourth and final Vault Hunter to be revealed in Borderlands 3, FL4K, has finally been unveiled, and with them, a ton of information about who they are and how they play. A Beastmaster built around an array of loyal creature companions that follow them everywhere they go. This video is going to cover FL4K's action skills as well as their pets, as FL4K is one diverse character and there are many ways they can be built. Before we start, I'd like to say a huge thank you to 2K UK for inviting me down to capture the footage you're about to watch. This video wouldn't be possible without them, so I massively appreciate it. And last but not least, all of this footage was captured pre-release and is subject to change. I've made sure to not include any major spoilers, but there are mission objectives and other small details on the HUD, so prior warning in case you wanted to not see anything like that. Fade Away is the action skill found in the Stalker tree. This causes FL4K to turn invisible, move faster, and regenerate health gradually. The main point of this skill though is that while invisible you can fire up to 3 shots from any gun. Not only that, but these shots will be a guaranteed critical hit no matter where you hit the enemy. This is great for overall damage output, as FL4K does have various skills which give them different bonuses for landing successful crits. Also synergizing well with Jacob's weapons, as they cause critical shots to ricochet into nearby enemies, resulting in some entertaining combat scenarios.
I send you all to death!
This skill is also good for survivability, as you can cloak to reposition yourself out of a rough situation. Some way down the skill tree allows you to equip the augment Not My Circus, which makes your pet draw enemy fire and become highly damage resistant once Fade Away has ended, which is always nice, and particularly good for solo play. Rakk Attack is the Hunter tree's action skill, and causes FL4K to send out a number of Rakk to attack the enemies in your line of sight. This ability has a short cooldown and holds 2 charges by default, making this good for consistent long range damage and dealing with enemies who are in a tough situation to attack directly. The utility of this skill is pretty straightforward, but the Hunter tree has numerous augments that let you change the skill a lot, such as converting the Rakk damage to cryo, healing a portion of the Rakk damage dealt, sending out 4 Rakk instead of 2, and even adding a 3rd charge to the ability itself. It's going to be interesting to see how this ability is optimized in the full game. All in all, this skill made me feel like I was playing Borderlands 1 Mordecai again, which is great! Arguably the most interesting action skill, Gamma Burst, found in the Master skill tree, lets you create a rift where your reticule is pointing and teleports your pet through it, additionally dealing radiation damage to any enemies nearby. Not only that, but your pet appears looking a bit different. They turn massive and get super angry, and deal even more radiation damage with each hit that they connect. More still, if you use Gamma Burst while your pet is down or dead, your pet will be revived. However, this will double the action skill cooldown time, so you have to be careful. Aside from the obvious of this skill being great for just making your pet much more dangerous, later down the tree, this will open up the chance to really diversify how you play, with numerous ways to improve the damage of you and your pet with this skill active. You also gain access to the Burst Aid augment, which causes you and your allies to incredible health regeneration just by standing near the rift. Anyone out there specifically looking forward to FL4K for the pet aspect to them, this will very likely be the action skill for you. Speaking of pets, it's time to go into some detail about how they work and what makes all of them different. First things first, your pet is always by your side. They don't have to be summoned, they're just always there. They function as a diet version of a party member and can be downed and even killed. Should they die, there is a timer that indicates when they will respawn by your side. Your pet will attack at will, but by holding down the action skill button, you can command your pet to attack a specific enemy. Each pet has its own unique attack it will use once directed at something in particular. It's also worth noting that FL4K can equip both one action skill and one pet together at any time. You do not need the same pet and action skill from their respective trees and are free to change any of these on the fly. Every tree does, however, have the ability to equip augments to drastically change your pet into something entirely different, complete with new elemental damage types and attacks. There are many of these, and unfortunately I didn't have enough time to capture any of them for the guard Skag, but they make a huge difference, and I'll show you why. Speaking of which, the guard Skag can be found in the Master tree, and as long as the Skag is your pet, FL4K will deal increased damage. The guard's Skag Attack command causes it to vomit a large pool of acid at the directed enemy. The guard Skag can be augmented to become a Great Horned Skag for increased damage in addition to the standard damage buff, or an Iridian Skag to add fire rate. Many of the skills in the Master Tree add a lot of damage to both Flak and their active pet. This will likely be the tree to go down if you just want your pet to mess things up while you watch the carnage from the sidelines, or alongside them if you don't want to be left out. The Spiderant Centurion is in the Hunter Tree, and while active, causes Flak to constantly regenerate health. The attack command for the Centurion causes it to use a rolling attack that knocks enemies to the ground. By default, the Spiderant can shoot projectiles as well as hit things, making it quite the all-rounder.
Nice fighting, killer.
Oh, that's my girl.
Augments-wise, you can make the Spiderant become a Scorcher for added elemental resistance as well as a ton of incendiary damage, or a Countess for added damage reduction. The Countess gains the attack command to burrow attack enemies for area corrosive damage. The passive health regeneration of the Spiderant in combination with the Rakk Attack action skill seem to make Flak very hard to kill, as well as giving him a lot of range to hard to hit enemies, especially with the Countess's ability to effectively teleport to them with the burrowing attack. Could likely end up being the pet with the most range, but we'll have to wait and see. Jabbers are a new creature to the world of Borderlands, and Flak comes equipped with their own Jabber Sidekick, the most bizarre of the three pets, but powerful, and being active grants Flak increased movement speed. The Sidekick carries a pistol to shoot with, and its attack command causes it to throw a radiation barrel at enemies. As in, it just straight up picks up a barrel and flings it. I'm not sure if it's because we were early game, but this seemed mad good, due to not only inflicting radiation damage, but the explosion is great for crowd control as it has huge knockback to enemies. With augments, you can turn the Jabber into a gunslinger, granting more crit damage and armed with an SMG and rocket launcher, or, my personal favourite, the Beefcake Jabber.
I'm on my way to buy the new Farrah Fawcett shampoo for men.
Increasing your maximum health, losing the pistol for a shotgun, and gaining the ability to smack enemies away with a club.
Hey, don't hurt my hair, man.
But does that matter? Just look at him. The pets really are what make Flak tick. A unique character for sure, who seemingly has countless ways to be built and played. I certainly had fun with him for the few hours that I was able to get hands on, and I hope you all do too when the game launches September 13th. Once again, thanks to 2K UK for making this video possible, and thank you for watching it. I'll see you all once the game is out, as it's not long left to wait now. See you next time.
Another. More.